Let's talk about a massive problem in cloud security. How do you protect your systems from a threat you've literally never seen before? In these environments that change by the second, the old rule books, well, they just don't work anymore. So today, we're going to explore a much smarter way to think about security, one that actually adapts as fast as the cloud itself. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll dig into why traditional security is really struggling to keep up with the cloud. Then we'll unpack a new, way smarter behavioral approach. After that, we'll see how this actually protects your entire environment. And finally, we'll look at the huge advantages this brings to the table. All right, let's jump right in. Okay, first up, the cloud security dilemma. This is all about understanding why the tools and strategies that maybe worked in the past are just, well, they're not built for the crazy scale and speed of today's cloud. And this really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Every single security team is wrestling with this. In an environment that's constantly changing, attackers are always coming up with new tricks. So if you're only relying on a list of threats we already know about, you're always going to be one step behind. And this right here perfectly illustrates the core problem. On one hand, you've got these incredibly dynamic cloud environments that are always in motion. But on the other hand, traditional security is stuck using these static, predefined rules. And those rules just can't keep up. They become obsolete almost the minute you write them. So what happens when these two worlds collide? You get chaos. Your security teams are just buried under an absolute avalanche of alerts. And honestly, most of them are false alarms. Their tools don't talk to each other, which creates these massive blind spots where the real threats can just slip right through. It's a system that's just destined to break. So if the old way is broken, what's the fix? Well, we have to shift to a whole new philosophy, a behavioral approach that actually thinks like the cloud, something dynamic, something that adapts. And that brings us to Lacework. Now, this isn't just another security tool you add to the pile. It's a cloud-native platform that was built from the ground up with a totally different engine, behavioral analytics and machine learning. So how does this whole behavioral thing actually work? Well, think about it. Traditional security is like a security guard with a photo book of known bad guys. If someone new shows up, they have no idea what to do. Behavioral analytics flips that script completely. Instead of looking for what's bad, it first takes the time to learn what's normal for your environment. It builds this unique baseline, and then anything that deviates from that normal pattern gets flagged instantly. And the process is actually super elegant. First, the platform just observes everything. And I mean everything happening across your cloud. Billions of data points. Second, its machine learning engine crunches all that data to build that unique behavioral profile. And third, the moment something strays from that profile, it detects it in real time. Okay, but wait, billions of events? That sounds like a ton of noise, right? And it would be, except this is where the magic happens. The platform's polygraph technology acts like this master detective. It doesn't just see a bunch of random clues. It connects the dots between them. It links all the related activities together to build the full story, turning that storm of raw data into just a few high-confidence alerts that point to a real threat. All right, so we get the how, this whole behavioral analytics thing. Now let's talk about the what, as in what parts of your entire cloud stack does this actually protect? It all starts at the very core with workload protection. And that means securing the actual computers doing the work, whether we're talking about old-school virtual machines or modern stuff like containers and Kubernetes. Next up is a huge one, identity. The platform doesn't just watch machines, it watches what people are doing. It learns what's normal for every single user, so it can immediately spot weird things, like a developer who suddenly starts trying to access financial records. That's a huge red flag. Now, just because we're focused on unknown threats, it doesn't mean we ignore the known ones. The platform is also continuously scanning for those known vulnerabilities, giving your team a heads up so you can patch them before an attacker finds them. It's about being both proactive and reactive. And let's be real, almost nobody lives in just one cloud anymore. This platform brings it all together. You get a single pane of glass to see and manage threats across AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, even your own private servers. No more juggling a dozen different tools. You know what else this unified view is amazing for? Compliance. Audits can be an absolute nightmare, right? Well, this continuously checks your setup against all the big standards like PCI or HIPAA, automating a huge chunk of that painful process and making it so much easier to prove you're secure. Okay, let's bring this all home. In our final section, we're going to see how this all leads to the ultimate goal, the smart security advantage. And it's really all about one thing, turning overwhelming noise into crystal clear clarity. I mean, this slide really just says it all, doesn't it? The old world is that constant alert storm that just burns out your security teams. The new approach gives you clear, meaningful context. It's a fundamental shift from worrying about the quantity of alerts to focusing on their quality. So, what's the bottom line here? First, you get real intelligence that can actually spot those never-seen-before threats. Second, you get way fewer alerts, which frees up your team to focus on what actually matters. And third, since every alert comes with the full story, your investigation time gets slashed from days or weeks down to just minutes. That's a game changer. I love this quote because it just perfectly nails the goal. You don't want a security posture that's a static wall. You need a living, breathing system that evolves right alongside your cloud environment. At the end of the day, this is all about making security work for you, not against you. By taking this behavioral, data-first approach, cloud security finally becomes what it was always supposed to be: smarter, way simpler to manage, and truly scalable. And that really brings us to the final, crucial question you have to ask yourself. In a world where the cloud is never standing still, being secure today just isn't enough. The real challenge is this: is your security strategy actually built for the cloud of tomorrow? Is it ready for what's next?